Hello, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be tying a Caddis Larva. So not one of the ultra realistic pupa patterns that you see, but just a pretty straightforward larva pattern. Very effective, that's why I like tying it. It's also really easy to tie. So in the vise we've got a curved caddis hook. This is a size 14. And we've got a 3mm tungsten bead on there. Thread, you could use black, but I already had the olive loaded, so I'll just stick with that. So I'll just come straight in, put a few wraps in there, get rid of this tag. It's another one of those patterns where you don't need to be too neat and tidy at this stage, which always helps. So just bring that thread maybe halfway down the bend, something like that. And then what I'm going to do here, just to lock it, is just rotate that up there, just to stop it sliding. And we're going to start with the body material, which is nymph skin. So this is just the natural latex. And what I've done here is I've just cut it to a bit of a point, and just makes it a bit easier to catch on. So I'll push this back down and just catch this point in here, just a loose turn to catch it in, then another one. If you just allow it to spin slightly, and then it'll sit nicely on the back of the hook shank, and then just pull it tight, get a few wraps in there, and then we'll come and trim away this tag end. And put some more wraps just to secure everything, tighten it down. Come back up here. And now what we're going to do is change our thread. So we'll just quickly tie this off, just throw a quick whip finish in there. Trim that away. And now we're going to use this, which is obviously a fluorescent chartreuse. The thicker the better, really. I've only got a 70 denier, which we'll have to do. Just wrapped around the bobbin now, just untangle that. But what we're basically doing here is just building up a body. We want this to show through the latex when we're done. So obviously if you've got a thicker thread, you'd be able to do it a little bit quicker. So come back in here. Trim this away. So then just build a nice base of colour, just so it's fairly thick, so that when the fly is wet, you'll be able to see it come through. Again, it doesn't have to be neat, doesn't have to be tidy. It's all going to get covered in the latex. I would say you want it fairly even though, if you can, just to make it easier when you're wrapping the latex around. So you can start to think about the body profile if you want at this stage. But as you can see, I'm just giving it plenty of wraps all the way around. Quite thread intensive. I think we're about there. I think that'll do us. So what I'm going to do at this stage is whip finish this one off as well. going to go back in with my olive thread. It's not essential, I just prefer to. It's a finer thread, it's easy to work with, and it's going to make it a bit easier when I want to cap that latex in at the top. And you don't need to worry about the colour at the top here, because you'll be putting a collar on it anyway, a dubbing collar. So there we go. I'll just move that out of the way. So now what we want to do is wrap our latex on. And what we want to do is think about the profile of the fly. So really you want it fairly slim, starting off down the bottom, fairly slim. And then you want to make it quite thick and juicy up towards the bend. And then you want to taper it off again towards the head. So the way you do that is you just adjust the amount of pressure that you have on it. So if you start off pulling it relatively tightly each time, so you get your first wrap in there, and then it's overlapping wraps. And then what I'm going to do here is just ease off on the tension a little bit. You get that nice big juicy body. And then about here I'm going to start with a bit more tension again. A little bit more tension again. And then nice and tight up here. When I get to there, I'm going to hold that in there, trap it under, get a few wraps in there because it will spring back. So you get a few nice wraps. Just want to make sure that it's not going to spring out. So that should be fairly secure. So what we'll do here is come in, pull it fairly tight, not too tight because obviously you don't want it to ping back, and then just snip that away. So now you can see we've got a pretty nice profile there, it's nice and juicy. You can just about see the chartreuse showing through as well. It shows through a bit more when it's wet as well, which is good. So then the final thing we want to do is just make sure we've got a few wraps in there just so it's really secure, and then we're going to add a bit of dubbing. So again we're going to be using the Vicuna grayling box here, some of the UV blends, and we're going to use the black because it's ideal, it suits the natural. So again, little pinch, when I get on. Add a bit more, I think. Nice collar building up there. I'll put one more pinch on, I think. There we go. I'll put another whip finish in behind that bead. If I can get hold of it. And just gently pull it tight. And then we'll throw another one in. Pull that one tight as well. Trim away your thread, and then what you can do now is just brush out that dubbing a little bit. Just plucking away at it slightly in a backwards motion, back towards the back of the fly. And there you have it. So give it a go, let me know what you think. Good luck with it, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.